Maria Taylor alongside Jalen Rose and Jay Williams.
Get it.
Right.
Welcome. Thank you.
Our veteran. This is our 7-year vet. We are just rookies in the game. We bow down to you, Jalen. You got to teach us your ways.
New York City. You're about to turn the Big Apple into cider.
I like it. And in my mind, you two are going to be like the dynamic duo, right? That's what's going to happen on the East Coast?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
okay,
no
good.
question.
Because that's what's happening in the game
You
right
want to
now.
run a triangle.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You don't pick up the season trying to run the triangle. That's one offense I hate.
That's a secret story that we're going to tell you later about Jay Will trying to run the triangle when he first showed up ever he can. Okay, let's talk about the duos that are showing up this season because everything's changed. The power structure is different. We've got the two highest career player efficiency rating players in NBA history out with the Lakers. That's LeBron and obviously AD. Together, the question is, can they get the Lakers back to the playoffs? Then we've got Kawhi and Paul George. They're in the same building. One is the reigning world champion and finals MVP. The other is a 6-time NBA All-Star. So we're going to watch some really great battles in LA. Meanwhile, in Houston, Harden and Westbrook teaming up, and they're trying to make it to, their first final since the last time they played together in OKC in 2012. So all we know is we've got these duos all over the place. The 2019-20 season is going to be great, but the question is, of these new pairings that we have.
The year of best friends, Maria.
Is that what it is?
Best friends. Everybody's best friends these days.
Now. Quote me on that.
Now.
Everyone's best friends right now when no one's had to play a regular season game. Who's the best duo of the new group?
It has to be, obviously, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Look, I know LeBron James is one of the most perfect players we've ever seen, and obviously having AD, who I think is a top 5 player. But thinking about the way that Kawhi Leonard has just played this past season, winning a championship, being a finals MVP, and then bringing Paul George to the table, a guy who's in the MVP conversation, 2 lockdown defenders, they complement each other extremely well. Obviously, you saw what they had right there, a 16% chance to win the whole thing. I think that's because you have 2 guys who are 2 great defensive players, and then also 2 guys who are very clutch offensively as well.
I'm not mad at you at all, but think about it like this. Paul George was 3rd in the MVP race. This season, he's going to be the 4th best player in his own building. I'm going with the Lakers on this one. You said the 2 highest PERs.
Yep.
LeBron hasn't played basketball in 6 months. He's going to be motivated. He's going to be fresh. Anthony Davis was a star in New Orleans. But you know what makes you a superstar? Balling in the playoffs. He's going to get a chance to do that now. He's going to elevate himself. He's going to be amongst the league leaders in points and rebounds. LeBron James, the same exact thing. They have something special going in purple and gold.
You weren't a defensive guy. You didn't
At all.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't mention that word once.
Don't you think that matchup of having Kawhi go against a LeBron James, like he would take on that responsibility? Now, I know there's load management issues there, and Paul George coming off the shoulder surgery, but I still think that kind of lineup between the way those 2 play, that's going to be a dynamic duo.
Those are the 2 best two-way players, probably. So we're going to see, that's the best defensive duo, maybe. And my question for you is, so then where does KD, or when we're seeing them line up, who are LeBron and where's AD? Where are they playing? Is AD a 5? Is that going to be the closing lineup? How do the Lakers structure that?
Use a stretch 4. So sometimes the big doesn't always want to play the 5.
He doesn't.
So he's not going to start at the 5. But guess what? JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, they won't be finishing the game.
Nope.
Anthony Davis will be playing the 5. Kuzma will be in there. LeBron will be in there. And either Avery, Bradley, or Green is going to be in there for defensive purposes.
So I guess you do whatever you have to do in order
to
make it back to the playoffs.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, that's the best duo according to you guys. Then who's the most intriguing? We might have questions about this duo, but we still get a little excited about these 2.
I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to go with D'Lo and Stephen Curry.
Okay.
I'm going to say this, too. The Golden State Warriors, mark down the date, they are not going to make the playoffs. The Golden State Warriors are not going to make the playoffs, and this is why I say that D'Lo and Stephen Curry are the most intriguing duo. Now, D'Lo played extremely well last year. He got the Brooklyn Nets to the playoffs, correct? He made the All-Star game. He wasn't the guy at first. Karis LeVert was the guy, right? D'Lo started to find his swagger. I wonder how D'Lo will do in a system that he can't dominate the ball.
The team that has made it to 5 straight finals is not going to make the playoffs.
Yes, it's a different team. Klay Thompson's not going to be there until March. Who knows how he'll be when he comes back. They lost Ron Adams, too, which is their defensive coach. So now they have a different identity. both D'Lo and Stephen Curry do not defend. We've seen this before. And now the usage rate for Stephen Curry is going to be extremely high. He's going to need to do everything. Draymond Green got a big-time contract. We're going to see if he can score and carry that load. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on D'Lo to play in that new style of the system and that run and gun. I don't know if that suits his game specifically.
I don't think D'Lo earned his way to the top duo conversation just yet. Interesting.
It's going to need to be. Who else is going to be the duo on that team?
Well, Draymond Green. I feel like he is. Interesting has to be Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Both of those guys. Now think about it. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons. Now he's going to be playing with James Harden. Both of these guys have the highest usage rate of NBA history. They're going to be on the exact same team. And the personality that Russ plays with, the fire that he plays with, and sometimes the non-efficient game that he plays. And so what is he going to be doing when James Harden is dominating the ball in isolation situations? Spotting up is not the best thing that he does.
They're both top 4 in touches and isolation plays. But can they, I feel like we didn't see it much with Harden and Chris Paul. Can they play and have a play run for them where both of them are getting a touch, where they're assisting one another? Does it have to be this is your isolation play, next play this is you, Westbrook? Does it have to be on and off again?
James Harden has to change. One thing I would like to see from his game is for him to play off the ball some. When the last time you seen James Harden in a 3-on-2 break shoot a layup or a dunk? Or somebody else handling the ball, he coming off the baseline trying to make a play. He always has the ball. So he's the one that's going to have to make the adjustment as Russ joins his team.
You think he's going to, though?
He has to.
I don't think he will. James Harden has been that player that his defense is dictated by his offense. He's used to having the ball in his hands. I've seen you talk about this multiple times. There are plays he just takes off when he's not involved in the offense. He'll just stand, right? That's who James Harden is. Now, I think Russ can help with that because you have 2 guys that can create a lot of different passes and plays. But still, it comes down like they're demonstrative attitudes. This can be great, or this can be really, really bad. Like watching facial expressions, the way we'll tone in on those two, and also it's going to be like a fashion runway when they walk into the gym.
No doubt.
Every single game, they will be highlighted for some other reason, maybe than them.
We might need to just do one on the duos and the way they look. We could have a fashion duo. Which one's going to be the best one by the end of the season?
But you know what else those 2 guys going to do? We're going to be watching League Pass multiple times, and both of those guys are going to have triple-doubles in the same game.
I agree.
100%.
How about that? That's dynamic.
I call them Team Supreme.
Okay,
That's
Team Supreme.
Right
I like
there.
that.
Combined, they have 8 50-point triple-doubles just by themselves. The rest of the NBA has 6 total, so that's what we might be seeing throughout the season. Okay, the duo thing isn't new, though, so I wanted to get you guys' take on the best ever NBA duo in, like, history.
See, I got the little foot joint right here, because I'm a little guy, right? So I don't like my feet swinging, not hitting the ground. I'm like Kevin Hart tip, but I like the little guards, right? So for me growing up, I didn't think I was going to be 6'6" like Michael Jordan. I didn't think I was going to be 6'9" like Magic. I had Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Like the way they played, you're a Detroit guy, the bad boys, the way they brought that pain and the way they played each and every day, they drew that line in the sand, and plus the way Joe shot that ball and the way Isaiah danced with the ball, that mesmerized me as a kid.
That was my answer as well.
Really?
Absolutely. The bad boy?
Yeah, you were giving me a weird look about it.
No doubt about it.
Because I'm Pippen and Jordan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about people that won championships together, like back to 2 3.
Don't discredit the bad boys like that, Maria.
The bad boys won the championship at a time where they went through Michael Jordan, went through Larry's big 3 in the Celtics, and beat the Lakers.
And then Magic and Kareem, we weren't going to do that? No?
I consider them.
Okay.
I consider them.
You considered? Who else did you consider?
I considered Mike and Scotty.
Okay.
I considered the bad boys backcourt.
I'm a little guy. I told you what my preference is.
All right. I'm right, and I get the last word. Okay, coming up, we're going to walk through the wild, wild west.